Joe Colab. We're out here in St. Louis for round 5. It's qualifying day, first day, and I can tell you one thing, it is hotter than Hades out here. But we're doing the best that we can. We got our normal setup going onto the car, and I've got some B-roll shots that we'll throw up here of the alternator changes that Jacob made to fit the larger alternator. So from last round, at the end of the last video, you saw that we had an alternator failure. That thing had been going out for some time. It just kind of come and go, and it finally died. And then we finally figured out what the heck was going on. So Jacob designed a bracket from our Colab carbon. So it is our printed material that has the continuous carbon embedded in it. It's good up to 350 degrees and just as strong as aluminum. So we didn't have enough time to have somebody machine that out of billet on a CNC machine. So we went ahead and did it on our own in-house. And then we also printed a duct that I'll show you to make it so the airflow coming out of the front fan gives some extra airflow to cool off the alternator. So all these changes, we're getting ready to go out for practice, and we'll see you out there. All right, guys, we're out here in the hot pits on practice for qualifying. Just want to give you a little bit of an idea. So the last couple rounds, we didn't have hot pits. We're working out of the pit at the trailer, but this track has dedicated hot pits. And as you can see, I'm wearing my cool suit. It is so hot out here. And we've been making quite a few changes to the car, making the small adjustments. We don't have a lot of data from this track from last year. So we're building up our database, and we're going to keep on putting laps till Ryan feels comfortable.
All right, Ryan Litteral is in the building, the RB Army, ripping that Nissan S15. I know he's had some gremlins here and there, but he showed up. He showed up in New Jersey, had some great runs, but then unfortunately went to head-to-head and had some gremlins show up. Now look at the flow here in that Powerstop Brakes S15. Really good transition into that second outside zone. That flow, that's what I say, it's such a natural, good, clean line going from 2 to 3 and now into 4. Puts it right there on the course's edge. And that almost looped. Got me a little bit nervous there. And when you go up that bank, that could cause some damage and kind of rocking your system as well.
And that's part of the reason why we've shortened up the track to the finish line, because previously you weren't really as wide as you are now in the steep up. So watching him here, he comes in, initiates, does pretty good. We get just a hair deeper. You see he shallows up a little bit of angle there halfway through, flips it around there, and then he pulls the tire right to the inside line where we want you to be closer to the wall there. Comes in here, gets in a little bit late, drops the tire into the box towards the end, and then flips it back across here. Gets pretty deep there and does a good job in outer zone 4.
So there it is. Look how much rubber is laid on this course. And do you think have you talked to drivers about the changing conditions from earlier today? Hot, sun's up. Now temperature's not dropping tremendously a lot. It's still sticky out there.
It's still hot.
But
didn't get a chance to talk to too many. Talked to a couple spotters here and there just about some of the track changes that we did. One of the big things was outer zone 1. We kind of pushed it back about 20 feet, and then it also stayed about the same size, but we just shifted it further down the line about 20 feet. So had some mixed reviews. Some seemed to like the change. Some wanted it kind of split in the middle. Everyone seems to feel like outer zone 3 is a lot easier to work around now. And then outer zone 4 is just a little bit trickier, I think, because of outer zone 3 now. So some of them you can see are getting outer zone 4 good. Others are still working with it. Here we go.
78.33, so just a point off. And there's the X factor. So you can see that. Looks like a Robin Shida gives him 2 out of 10.
All right, guys, it's the next day. We're out here. ProSpec is running on Friday, so today is our day to kind of get the car dialed in from everything that was happening in qualifying yesterday. As you can see, it's still super hot. Jacob at Colab Garage is over there with his shirt off, looking real sexy. But we noticed that the steering rack was off center, so we're doing another alignment on the car, and unfortunately we are still having throttle body issues, and we think we've narrowed it down to something in the firmware. So we've gone through every possible thing that we could check and change, and it still happened to us in our last practice lap. So our qualifying result was not what we wanted, but we had to put a safe run out there just to make sure we got on the grid. The gamble almost didn't pay off. We almost had to run a second time, but we barely squeezed in there. The bracket's shaping up pretty good for tomorrow, so today we're going to get everything dialed in, and we'll see you out there for practice on Saturday.
Big cheese.
Get that cheese, yeah.
Guys, it is final round, battle day. We just got done with practice. Ryan feels really great in the car, and he's right there. You're finally going to be in one of my videos?
That's right. I'm here.
Sick.
I'm here.
But anyway, we made just some fine adjustment changes. Unfortunately, a lot of our runs today, they weren't very good chaseable runs, so we had to keep going back out there and making little adjustments and not really knowing if the change we wanted to see was working. So, but you know, that's part of it. So right now we're just going through the car because we have plenty of time to do it. The last couple rounds we've had to go pretty early on in the bracket, but today we're literally the last run of top 32. So we're gonna take advantage of the time and go through the car and see you out there on track.
Travis Reeder, Ryan Litteral. You got the LS-powered BMW of Travis Reeder. You got the RB-powered S15 of Ryan Litteral. Let's see who comes out on top. I know Travis Reeder took a big hit. I looked at his social media yesterday or Thursday and had a big hit in his door. Don't know exactly how that happened. Haven't exchanged words with him yet. But the Nicholas BMW will lead. Nicholas, really cool gaming project. GT radials, and then the GT radial Powerstop S15 of Ryan Litteral chasing him down. Good initiate. Ooh, just as I say that, he goes into the dirt. He's dropping that tire there, Travis Reeder. And look at Ryan Litteral. Very aggressive in the chase position. Just allowed him to slip on by, walk on by into that second outside zone. Now transitioning into that final outside zone. And there you go. So again, that finish line is just there at the end. You can see the red and white strips, and there's that white inside cone. That is the finish line. So let's take a look at it again here. Lantain.
Decent initiation from both of them. Reeder does drop that tire in outside zone 1, but it doesn't seem to affect him too much. And look at the way Litteral did that transition. Sick. He was so close right there. Very precise. Litteral misses outside zone number 3 somewhat, whereas Reeder seems to be in it and doing a good job. Great job in outside zone 4 from both of them. Let's watch this from the drone this time, the high-speed drone. So right there, you can see Litteral's in the box doing a great job. But watch this transition. Woo, nice and close. That was so tight. And in the chase position, Litteral's doing a great job of positioning his car. He does get into the box there in outside zone number 3, but not quite as deep as Reeder does. And same thing for outside zone 4. But I think Litteral put together a pretty solid chase right there, especially positioning himself for outside zone number 2 and getting so close on that transition.
Okay, so here we are seeing Ryan Litteral out front, Powerstop, Colab, S15, and Travis Reeder, T-Rav. Here we go. And here we go, changing into the position, like I said, in outside zone 1, Ryan Litteral into outside zone 2. Big angle from Ryan Litteral. Now into that third outside zone. This is a great driving showing by Ryan Litteral, the best we've probably seen so far. Filling all the outside zone for Travis. Reeder drops into formation at Nicholas BMW. Again, Travis, he was giving it to him, but I'll tell you what, you can't have a good chase run unless you have a good lead run, and Litteral put the car in all the right places.
Yeah, his initiation wasn't as snappy as Reeder's was on his lead run, but he did get the car to angle, got it in the box. Right there, he kind of has a late transition into outside zone number 2 and has to sort of not park the car, but rotate it right in place. And it gives Reeder the opportunity to get close. And then as they go through 4, very similar to what Reeder did in his lead, but Reeder's right there next to Ryan. So let's watch this initiation. You can see there, not the snappiest initiation, but his line is great in the lead position. Transition right there. Got himself into outside zone number 2. It looked more dramatic from up in the sky from the high drone. But as we watch here on the action drone, it seems like it's a really great run from Ryan Litteral in the lead position.
Sliding left for Rita, right for Ryan Litteral, and Ryan Litteral one more time and gets the win. So it looks like Ryan Lontaine and Chris Yule side with Ryan Litteral. Very similar scenario to that of Castro and RCP, but Ryan Litteral.
Yeah,
here we
just
are.
had the edge
Top
over him
16.
and didn't drop his tire in outside zone 1.
That RB Army flag. The Powerstop Brakes GT Radio Colab. Repping the 909. Say hello to Ryan Litteral. Jonathan Castro will lead. Ryan Litteral will give chase. And we are clear to send. Again, Castro out qualifying Ryan Litteral. Jonathan Castro in that Toyota GR86. Ryan Litteral in that Powerstop Brakes GT Radio RB Army S15. Good aggressive straight line approach there from Jonathan Castro in that first outside zone. Transitions in Ryan Litteral. He needs to gain some ground. It loses a little bit of angle. Now going to that third outside zone. Looks like Ryan Litteral having a bit of a struggle here into that third outside zone, and now into the fourth. Good angle from Castro. Now Litteral does gain some ground as they cross that finish line. All right.
Let's take a look at this here, Jared. Castro out front. Nice little snap. Gets into the zone a tiny bit late, but then he goes to the deepest part of the zone. Litteral trying to chase him down. Comes through the smoke line. He's on the inside of 2. Okay, there's an opportunity for Castro in his chase run. Castro, middle, deep part of outside zone 3. Here comes Litteral trying to close the door. And he does a great job of doing that. He pretty much stays on the right line or the same line as Castro, but Castro fills it. Very smooth and fluid by Castro. Even if every single mark wasn't hit at 100%, it's an overall very solid lead run.
All right. Castro and that LTH Mobile 1 GR86, Dominican's finest, going against the IE Inland Empire 909 Powerstop Brakes Colab S15. Now Litteral would love to advance on into the grade 8. So would Castro. They're going to see Simon Olsen in the 8. What do we got? Again, you can still see a little bit of a, you see the patchiness of that track. So still a little bit of moisture in the track. Ryan Litteral changes now into that second outside zone. You see that left foot brake. The front wheels come to a halt. But Castro, good proximity. Could be a little bit deeper. Now how are they going to handle this last and final outside zone? And Litteral!
Again, it was one of those things where I was already starting to think about what the tenor of the run was going to be. It looked like Litteral was off to a good enough start to kind of turn back the direction, maybe going his way or one more time with this pretty solid lead, because look at Castro. He's way on the inside of 2. And also on 3, he doesn't get out nearly as far until the end. But right here, Litteral overextends. Massive angle, is not able to hold it, and another victim in outside zone 4.
Yep, yeah, that is the case, man. So you got to cross the finish line, with control. You got to cross the finish line in general, and unfortunately for Litteral, you see him kind of try to stomp on it and power through, but it's just not enough. as Jonathan Castro gets the win. LTH Mobile One Toyota GR86 from Dominican Republic moves on and fills that final grade 8 spot.
All right, guys, that's pretty much a wrap for FD St. Louis. Once again, forgot to record the outro while we were at the track. That's just one of those things, you get all hyped up and you go out there and you do battle, and things don't quite turn out the way you want them to. It's hard to hop on camera and then make a video. So, but overall, that was our first top 16 of the year. We finally figured out what was going on with the throttle. It was a firmware issue, and now that we've resolved that, we're able to be competitive and do laps in competition, which is something we haven't been able to do pretty much all season. We would get through qualifying, and then we would, hit some stumbling blocks on, the eliminations day, and in practice things would go okay, and then eliminations would come and something would bite us. So that's what happened the previous 2 rounds. So we're very pleased with the result. Not, obviously we'd love to go all the way to the end. We just kind of overcooked that at the very end with Castro there, but hey, that's part of racing. We're super happy and we can't wait to get out to Seattle. So with that, we'll see you on the next video.